Welcome to the Snakebite, your home for all things Florida Southern College athletics, where we bring you inside access into the world of moccasin athletics. Here are your hosts, Andrew Polling and George Connolly.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Snakebite. Alongside George Connolly, I'm Andrew Polling, and here's what the Mocs have been up to. In baseball news, the Mocs improved to 10-6 on the season after defeating the St. Leo Lions by a final of 13-5 on Wednesday night. The Mocs offense recorded 18 hits, with 7 out of the 9 starters notching multi-hit efforts. FSC also scored in 7 straight innings after being shut out through the first 2 frames of the game. The team is back in action on Thursday, April 22nd, as they head to Miami Shores to take on the Barry University Buccaneers at 4 p.m.
The softball team split their doubleheader yesterday against the Nova Southeastern Sharks, winning the first game by a final of 2-1. Our own Kenzie Council had a chance to speak with head coach Mo Triner to talk about her team's performance last night. Here's what she had to say.
So, Coach, your team split their doubleheader last night. Could you talk about some positives from those games?
There was a lot of positives. I think that our team is starting to really learn how to fight and come from behind. We dropped in both games. We came in the first inning, we gave up a run, and then the first game we came back a couple innings later and scored a few, which was good. My pitcher struggled the first couple innings, and then she settled down and really kind of I don't know, sometimes we have to work through adversity, I guess you kind of call it, because, you know, her stuff wasn't working the first couple innings, and every inning she'd come off the field, we'd talk about, you know, what's going on with your motion, what's going on with your spins, all that kind of stuff. So we kind of sat back and kind of like let her work herself through it and understand that, you know, you might not have your best stuff, but it's good enough to get you by, and which is what she did, and she really worked hard. So, and then the girls made some really good plays behind her, and, you know, we kept battling against the pitcher, and we ended up getting a few runs, and it made it pretty good. But the second game, we kind of struggled a little bit. I feel like, I don't know, I think we kind of put it a little bit on coast, and then we tried to catch up, and it was too late. But we're getting there. The girls are starting to understand that, you know, we have to fight the whole game, and we have to really battle and don't back down from anybody, because we can compete with everybody. And the girls, I think sometimes we get frustrated with them, and we get frustrated with ourselves because it's not as good as we wanted to do, but they're doing a lot of really good things. And sometimes we have to kind of keep that in the forefront and remind them that we are doing a lot of really good things.
So with 6 straight days off, what are some things the team will focus on to stay sharp during those practices?
Honestly, I think it's the best thing. We have a lot of injured kids. We have a lot of people who their bodies are just wore out. We have some nagging injuries that hopefully this time off will give us a little break to kind of heal and get some kids that were sick back, and kids that were, you know, have some of these little, I guess, little body issues and stuff like that. I mean, you know, we have like, you know, little elbow issue here, a little, you know, a little tight back here, a little tight hamstring here, you know, all these little things kind of add up through the season. And with our season the way it is, it's been a little crazy, a little hectic, but we're getting there. Well, I think it'll be good for our team to kind of give them a little bit of downtime too, and have a little bit of rest.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, Coach, and good luck for the rest of the season.
All right. Appreciate it.
The women are back in action on Wednesday as they host the Barry Buccaneers at Chris Bellato Field. Now, Andrew, the Sunshine State Conference made a major announcement last week regarding fan attendance. So can you talk us through some of the new policies that are now in place?
Well, George, the full policy is available on fscmocs.com in a news release, so we're going to highlight some things for you real quick. The basic summary is there's 2 fans per player at home events. That's the FSC rules. You must have a negative COVID test within 72 hours of the game, or be more than 2 weeks post-vaccinated. You have to be on a pre-approved guest list. And as we said a minute ago, check the website for the full update. Each school has their own individual policy within the conference, but the Sunshine State Conference now allowing institutions to have fans at their home events. Big win for the conference, big win for the school. And as we mentioned, road games might be a little bit different, but those are the rules, or at least some of them, that Florida Southern is going to have in place.
Absolutely, and they are very diligent rules at that. Now, Andrew, what was it like having fans at Henley Field for the first time?
It was incredible. So the varsity baseball team had a home game the same day that the announcement was made. So it was 5-6 hours after the announcement was made, we were actually playing baseball. So it was just a different atmosphere. We've had players in the stands throughout the season, and they've been providing some energy, which helps us out on the broadcast to just hear some people in the stands. But having fans there, having some friendly faces, like Jacob Teeter's mom, Lisa, drove all the way from Melbourne. She was one of the familiar faces that I recognized there on that first game with fans. It had been 393 days since we had had fans in the stands at Henley Field, and it was just really an incredible moment to have those players and their families around, and we're looking forward to having them back for the rest of the season.
Absolutely, and you mentioned Jacob Teeter, and speaking of Teeter, we saw that incredible streak that he had come to an end last week. Could you tell us more about that streak?
So Teeter had started 142 consecutive games. That's second all-time in program history to Robbie Shields, who started 167 straight games for the Mocs from 2007 to 2009. So Teeter's streak began on opening day. That was February 2nd of 2018, his freshman year, through March 10th of 2021. He's a former SSC Freshman of the Year, all over the team's record books. We'll get into more of that as their season wraps up. But now the team's current streak goes to Zach Scott, who's played in all 88 team games since he got to Florida Southern. So just a huge congratulations to Teeter on that milestone, and he's really been that Iron Man for the Mocs baseball team over the past 4 years.
Now diving into last night, what exactly was working for the Mocs?
Well, they finally got to Jared Beck. He was the starter for St. Leo. Florida Southern's faced him 3 different times now this season. He's a 7-foot-tall left-handed pitcher that the Lions threw out there. He had beaten the Mocs the first 2 times. Florida Southern finally got the best of him last night. 13 runs on 18 hits for the Mocs. 8 out of the 9 starters had hits. 7 out of the 9 had multiple hits. Grady McGuire and Tilden Agee both homered for the Mocs. McGuire, his first career homer. Agee, his second in as many starts. Nathan Madej got his 3rd win on the season. Thomas Spinelli and Pablo Toranzo, 4 shutout innings out of the bullpen. So overall, a good, complete game. 18 hits looks really good against a team that they had struggled against the first 2 games that they played against St. Leo, and now a nice bounce back. They're on a good little 3-game win streak here as they head into their bye week for their conference schedule.
Absolutely. Thank you for those insights as always, Andrew. And now let's switch gears to lacrosse. The women's team improved to 5-1 on the season after defeating the Lynn Fighting Knights last night by a final of 18-2. The Mocs were once again led by sophomore attack Haley DeLeo, who scored 5 goals in the contest. The team has outscored their opponents by 10 or more goals on 4 different occasions this season.
On the men's side, the Mocs fell at Lynn by a final of 8-13 as the team suffered their 4th consecutive loss. Justin Dunleavy and Edward May each collected 2 points in the loss as a 4th quarter outburst by the Fighting Knights proved to be the difference in the game. The team is back in action on Saturday as the Florida Tech Panthers come to town.
In women's golf news, the Mocs finished in 3rd in the SSC Championship Tournament earlier this week at Vero Beach. Lauren Perez and Hannah Rizzolo finished tied for 7th place individually as Rizzolo shot par in the final round and Perez shot 7 over. Southern will now have to wait for the NCAA Division II South Regional, which is set for May 3rd through May 5th.
In men's golf news, Adam Alvarez, Johnny Tucker, and Sam Rogers all competed as individuals in the Old Corkscrew Intercollegiate Invitational hosted by Florida Gulf Coast University. Alvarez had the top finish out of the trio as he shot 10 over, tying for 34th place. As a team, the Mocs return to action for the Sunshine State Conference Championship next Monday and Tuesday.
Both the men's and women's tennis teams suffered tough losses during their respective senior days over the past week. The women will wrap up their season on the road against Nova Southeastern on Saturday, while the men do so against Palm Beach Atlantic on Monday.
The beach volleyball team split their doubleheader at St. Leo on Saturday, improving their record to 2-12 on the season. The Sandy Mocs will wrap up their season this weekend as they head to Tavares to compete in the AVCA Small College Championship.
The men's and women track team will head to Daytona this weekend to compete in the Embry-Riddle Invite on Saturday. As always, head to fscmocs.com for the most up-to-date results and scheduling changes for all your moccasin teams. That is all from us this week on the Snakebite. Alongside Andrew Pauling, I'm George Connolly. We'll see you next week at 5.